Okay. So as we mentioned, we just finished up here talking about the photosystems, a little bit about what they do. And again, just kind of the summary here. Excited electrons are passed through an electron transport chain from one protein, complex protein, to another. As the electrons pass, their energy is used to pump hydrogen ions into the thylakoid, into the lumen space within the thylakoid. This creates a hydrogen ion gradient that our good friend, the ATP synthase, remember that crazy spinning hydrogen turbine molecule that we talked about in metabolism, breaking down glucose. We can also use it here inside the thylakoid to generate ATP, and that's now energy that can be stored and used somewhere else. And I'm hoping this works. Come on. Oh, these GIFs aren't working. That's really sad. Okay. Well, if you want to download the PowerPoint here, it's got working GIFs, and let me escape and see if there. So I don't know why it wasn't working a second ago. All right, so you can see what's going on here, and so, or at least hopefully this helps. Again, light striking, this is photosystem 1 right here, this guy up here. So photosystem 1, light is striking these photosystems. That's causing the chlorophyll in here to become energized. This photosystem 1 over here, it's pulling electrons out of the chain. So it's pulling in electrons and adding energy from the light to those electrons. Once enough energy gets stored, it moves those high energy electrons then to the next protein then that can generate. And this particular protein is generating NADPH, sorry. That can be stored, that stored energy then that can be used later on to help generate glucose or parts of glucose. And again, the whole time, light striking, this is photosystem 2 over here, light striking it. We're stripping hydrogen off of water and pushing those hydrogens in here. And then additional hydrogens are getting pumped through the proteins in between photosystem 1 and 2. So all this while I'm building up a bunch of hydrogen inside that I can then use ATP synthase to kick that out of the thylakoid, those hydrogens out of the thylakoid. And as they flow out of the thylakoid, the ATP synthase spins and creates ATP. Okay. So again, in photosystem 2, and I just put this in here. I didn't know if I was going to remember to say this, and as I've gone through it, now that I created this slide, I just want to highlight, this is where oxygen is produced, and this is the oxygen that you and I need to then breathe in and break down glucose later. This is where it's produced. The oxygen that's in the atmosphere, plants take in water, and they use energy from the light to pull electrons out of the water and release the oxygen and release hydrogen ions into the lumen space. And now you've got this floating oxygen molecule right here that comes off. Then that can now be diffused out into the atmosphere. And you and I can breathe that in and use that to burn sugars and other proteins up later. Okay. All right, so some pretty cool stuff there, right? And hey, you guys get to, I mean, this is just simple stuff I pulled off the internet, and you have to know how to put it together, and I don't mind doing it. I guess what I'm saying is I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you guys that just simple little graphics like this didn't exist even 10 years ago. So I'm glad I'm able to, hopefully I'm hoping they help you. I'm hoping just seeing it rather than just seeing a picture of it in a textbook. Hey, let's see if we can find some nice GIFs of this and see how it works. Okay, so again, just a real quick summary. It's important to just go over this. There's a lot going on here. Energy from light is collected by chlorophyll. Some of that energy is used to split water. This releases the oxygen. Energy is also used to increase hydrogen ion concentration in the lumen. That increases the pH. That's what pH is, concentration of hydrogen ions. So we increase the pH in the lumen, and then that allows an ATP synthase molecule to harness the energy of those hydrogens as it tries to flow out of the lumen, out of the thylakoid into the stroma. And that produces, we can use that flow of hydrogen ions to produce ATP. All right, next video, we'll talk a little bit about the Calvin cycle, I think.